It is July and it is pouring down. Today I'm going to be taking you along on a run with me, talk a little bit about my training and just generally give you some advice on, generally give you some advice which hopefully will help you with your running. Right, let's get this done. So I'm 10 minutes in, just walking up a hill. I'm soaked already, which is lovely. This is going to be the longest I've gone in a long while. So yeah, this will be the longest I've run probably in 4 or 5 months. Probably since my injury, which I'll obviously go into in a little bit more detail later on, but it's been a slow, gradual, frustrating process. So yeah, just on a little downhill section right now, before I go back uphill, which I'm going to kind of do the main bit of this video in terms of about my training. But while we're going downhill, what I wanted to talk about was easy runs. Now, this is something that time and time again I have clients ask about. How easy should my easy run be? Now, we're talking about an easy run. There's a couple of ways that you can kind of look at things. Heart rate being one of them, and looking at zoning. So generally your easy aerobic runs should be majority zone 2, maybe a little bit of zone 3, but for you to build the aerobic base, for you to get fitter overall, that's where you should be. Now, heart rate isn't always the best way of looking at things, mainly because so many other variables that come into play with heart rate. So for example, caffeine, fatigue, heat, all these things can affect your heart rate. So there's a couple of other ways we can look at making sure, or looking at how we make sure we are doing an easy run. One is rate of perceived exertion, which basically is how hard you're finding the run. If you're finding it about 5 to 6 in difficulty out of 10, that should be kind of at an easy pace. I like to use breath quite a bit, so obviously when I'm not talking to the camera, I'll try to just breathe in and out through my nose majority of the run, and then maybe a little bit in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now that should mean, generally speaking, you're at an aerobic pace the whole way through. And the final way, especially good if you have a friend or if you are running with a camera, is being able to maintain a conversation. So obviously your recovery run, which is easier than your easy run, you should be able to tell a story. You should be able to, you know, almost run the whole way telling a story to a mate as you go. Easy run, you should be able to, you know, have a conversation similar to what I'm doing right now. You should be able to have a conversation the whole way. As you move up to harder stuff, so you get up to kind of like your tempo threshold pace, that's where you're kind of limited to a few sentences. And finally, when you're at the really hard stuff, you should only be able to, you know, get a few words out, more than often of explicit nature because of the hard session you're doing. So that is how you kind of work out what pace you're doing, or a couple of ways you can work out what pace you're doing. They're the ones I use for a lot of the guys and girls that I train. So yeah, I'm going to finish up this hill or downhill, and then I'll catch you on the uphill. So the uphill section now, and similar to that advice I just said about in trying to keep your easy runs easy, I often walk a lot of hills when I'm doing my easy runs. Now there's a couple of reasons for this. First one being keeps your heart rate down and keeps you in that kind of easy zone. So a lot of the time I try and fast walk up a hill and then continue on the flats or the downs. Second part is kind of, I guess, my main interest overall is running ultra marathons, so longer distance. And when you're doing those sort of distances, you will walk at times. So part of what you need to get good at is walking. So it's a good time to kind of practice that kind of along the way. So I guess the main point of this whole video was a bit of a training update. Now, I originally entered the Ultra Trail Snowdonia 100k in, I think, October, November, with the intention of completing it in May. Now, February time, I was out in the South Downs and rolled my ankle pretty badly. Managed to get home okay, and then, yeah, basically 2 months of rehabbing the ankle. Now, obviously, that took out a huge amount of time, so that took out all of February, all of March, and we were going into the start of April when I was actually, you know, running 5k again. Now, for me to go from a 5k distance all the way up to 100k, especially 100k over Welsh mountains, well, that didn't really seem possible. It was already going to be a bit of a stretch for me to run the 100k over the mountains, and I just thought, you know, what I didn't want to do is potentially put myself in danger, put any other staff who are there in danger, or any other runners in danger if I could not complete. So basically I took the hard decision to pull up. Since then, I kind of built my speed back up. I was running really well and pretty quickly. Thought I was in a position to kind of run a couple of shorter distance PBs, and then since then I've had a load of problems with my knee, which has been very frustrating. So with the knee problem, took a couple of weeks of training, gradually built back up. Luckily, I have quite a lot in my toolkit in terms of different things I can do. Currently on an internship with Tom Crudgington down at Body Development, so I had a lot of stuff, strength training and the likes of that, to practice and keep me busy while I couldn't run. But you know, all this time not training, all this time rehabbing has been, it's been frustrating. It's been fucking annoying, because we're coming into the best kind of time of the year in my head anyway, to run, to be out in nature, to be, you know, kind of experiencing all of this, and I was sidelined, you know, doing treadmill running, which is dull at the best of times. So luckily I'm back now, getting back up to 8-9 miles, which is really good. And another thing, you know, is I still have the urge to do something long distance. I still want to tick the 100k box this year. I don't know when I'm going to do that. I don't know how it's going to happen, whether that's an event or I just decide to run 100k self-supported. That is an option as well. Just kind of grizz it out. Potentially looking at maybe doing a bike event, which, you know, I've recently got back on the bike and have been really enjoying that. More so just to get outside and you know, do something a little bit longer than kind of an hour running. So yeah, I don't really know over the next few months how things are going to look. I'm just taking things kind of week by week with the knee, seeing how that reacts to slightly longer training sessions. Next week I'll probably include some intervals, because that's what originally set my knee off. So I'll probably keep things at a similar level volume wise, but just split it into 3 sessions and do some slightly faster stuff. So yeah, that is a training update so far. Just wanted to give a little view of what I'm running on, although I can imagine it all pretty much looks the same at the moment. But yeah, there we are, little training update, thoughts for the future. I think, you know, generally I'm pulled much more towards longer distance stuff, especially on trail. I guess for me that's always been what I've liked and wanted to do. I wanted to see how far I can go. And I love the adventure side of ultra running, you know, whether that is like 50k, 100k or plus. It's exposing yourself to a different environment. It is being out in nature, seeing everything that area has to offer, and feeling, you know, yeah, a bit wild, I guess, in a weird sort of way. That's the element I enjoy. That's the training I enjoy. I enjoy going down to the South Downs and trying to crack out 20 miles on my own, getting up early in the morning and trying to be back, you know, like before lunchtime. So that's where I want to get back to. It may not be straightforward road, but it hasn't been so far, so I can't imagine it's going to get like that. And unfortunately, every now and again you have these road bumps, you know, in your running, in your training, in your racing and in life. And I've always thought it's how you deal with those road bumps that dictates the end result, not the road bump itself. It's about picking yourself up, dusting yourself off and moving forward. And I guess that's what I've been trying to do. I've been down, but I'm definitely not out.